Do you guys want me to delete everything so you guys can get the picture, or you guys can build up on where we were yesterday?
Starting over would be cool.
All right. Does everybody remember what we talked about previously? I mean, if I tell you everything, it'll be kind of tricky. We talked about this profile here, and we talked about this profile here. There's two things that were said. Erica said one of them, and somebody else, I can't remember who, said the second piece about these. You guys recall what it was?
A value area?
One was the value area, right? So we were getting a compressed, right? We had the really tight value compared to, remember when we measured here was like 3x. So this one was a B profile. It was a liquidation, and they shifted, right? And then remember we marked from that point, right? We marked the 2025 high. We said pretty important level. If they lose this, right, we said that there's a high chance that you're rejecting the breakout in 2026. And it kind of looks like previous years, right? You had two peaks, and then you had a trap here, really nice trap for the bulls, and now you had the kind of a sell-off, right? It seems just like a technical sell-off so far, but nonetheless, you went from a lowercase b to uppercase p, and we talked about the value area low being fairly important here because if you don't remember, we said that this value area low where we bounced last time for December, I said that there's a really good chance that they probably will crack this. Does that ring a bell? We had this level marked here. Does everybody agree? Understand?
Yeah.
So this is your December low, right? And then same thing we did yesterday on the watch list, right? Remember how we looked at, are we framing up or framing down? When you have candles like you had today, you're going to explore a lot of range in a single day, which means you might break some levels that you haven't obviously been there in a while, which means then you go from weekly, then so here you're talking about 150 points. When's the last time you had a 150 points candle? Maybe the closest thing we had was here about 127. This one's about 100. So not a lot of these candles, right? So when you have a massive candle and you haven't had one in a while like this, you're going to explore a lot of values and you're going to shift a lot of structures, framing up, framing down. So when we look at this on a weekly, yesterday, do you guys remember what we said about the weekly and why, what needed to happen for us to kind of be bullish? And Erica, you responded yesterday as well.
Framing down.
You're framing down, and that was the level that we were here. Remember, we said ideally, if you can reclaim this level, you would have a chance then to go higher. We could look for exploration in this area, but obviously that didn't hold, and then they sold off. But this was a level. So now this weekly, is it in play for you for analysis for tomorrow? Do you need this level?
I don't think
You wanna
so.
know what the low is to see
No,
if
you just
they
need to,
reclaim that low to start
if they
framing up
reclaim
again.
that. So let's put this. If reclaimed, that would be extremely bullish, right? But now that they had a 150 point candle, what you can do is instead of being on the weekly, go look at the monthly and see where's the monthly. Did we explore a prior month's value or range? So now when you come here, let's go on 8 hours. Okay, so that was my weekly, right? I'll just put weekly. So where's my monthly? Would this be my monthly low here? if we said if you reclaimed weekly, we would be extremely bullish. Most likely, you would have caused, I would say, probably some buying frenzy, right? Maybe like a short cover rally where you get a P-shaped tomorrow. Maybe you go up to this level somewhere around 68, 64. That's where you would look for, maybe see can they get back in, right? Because that's where you have a little bit of a LVN for now here, tiny one. You guys see it? So not a lot of price action, so it kind of becomes a split, right? It becomes, oh, you reclaim this, well, then you can cause a short cover rally. You can go probably 16, and then all the other levels that we had, like the zone of 69, 17 to 25, comes to play a big role. This value area low of prior week, if you guys remember 37, you guys recall this level, what we talked about? It was 34 to 37 yesterday or the night before. You guys remember this?
Yeah.
Pretty important level, but I don't think it's going to play a role like right now. I think that we are going to maybe we return here, have a massive short cover rally, but you will need a lot of tweets to get here. I don't know if he's asleep or not at this time, but he would need to start tweeting very soon. What else now, looking at the component of what you have here on the right, you have the VRVP, right? Visible range. So whatever it sees, it finds volume for. What would you expect to be a problem for bulls to reclaim? You're on the LVN now, so you're working on it. But what would be the level that they kind of got to watch out? If reclaimed, the next level is what? If they reclaim this, where would you watch for like a little trim?
68.30 maybe.
I would pay attention to like this volume node here. So you have this massive node here. I would watch to see kind of what happens in there, right? You reclaim that prior amount low, pretty good chance that you go to this POC right around, wherever this is. Let's say. So you're close. You're at 38. I'm at 47. But I'm just giving you off a weekly. Maybe we have a level there that's once we go smaller time frames that we see it, right? So this is our monthly levels that I would be aware of. You have an LVN here, and then we know, we had this LVN here, if you guys remember. Somewhere here. We had that LVN, and then we had another one here. You guys remember these? Like we talked about how they split the zones. This one was massive, and then two little ones. And then we said that there's a really, really high chance that you're going to explore that value pretty quickly, right? So now, I'm just going to find this so you guys can see where we're bouncing. You guys see what's happening now when you combine these?
One distribution.
We're in empty space, guys. We're gonna. So did anyone take long maybe earlier when I announced about 68 or so? Here. Somewhere here, 68 and a quarter. So that would have been pretty good for 50 points. I took 30, so I'm okay. But watch now when we arrive here, what could you expect? What are the reactions that you can have off of this candle? Like as you're arriving to prior amount low, and then you have this massive shelf. Let me just make it a little smaller so you guys can. I like to see the candle, I guess, when I'm trading on one of the screens. I like to see the volume bars with the candles. Maybe it's my old eyes or whatnot, but that would be ideal for me to kind of see it here. So if I see this, what could you expect the price action? Could they do something like this? Many people would be trapped. Oh, you reclaim prime amount low, they lose it, and then they continue, right? And then maybe they go here. Where would you guys turn like super bullish here?
Above 47.
You only have this
POC.
data. Where do you go super bullish? You don't know anything else.
That above 47, that big node that sticks out.
Yeah, as long as we can get above this high volume node, then what that tells you is that the price is being accepted above a really equilibrium price of what this is for since September. So call it like, I don't know, 5 months of equilibrium prices right here. This is the fairest price of the past 5 months. And if you can be above it, That's a pretty good thing, right, for bulls. And then you would watch, probably switch to TPOs and find exactly where's this, maybe somewhere right here. Find the zone on TPO so you know where the LVN is, so you know how this value is going to be split. And we clearly see another one right here.
16, 1% use, each key.
Okay, does that make sense? We want to be above this high wall, but if you're below it, this might serve as a nice rejection on the bottom. So this is going to be a fairly big level to watch, which I think we can reach tomorrow. I think we should have a problem. So far on monthlies, are you guys okay? What we talked about? Is everybody any issues following?
Yeah, also looks like we rejected the last time we were in balance on the monthly, kind of where you're hovering now, like those POCs that stack up.
Right here? Yeah.
October and November POC. Yeah, exactly.
So it's a pretty big zone, right? So typically, if you remember, what I like to do is I like to grab levels that are alike or close by. So in this case, this value area low, high, plus the 2 stack POCs, and look at the reaction. From the value area high standpoint, right? As long as you're above this, that means you're rejecting this value level. You don't want to go inside. And here you have shifted POC, right? The POC shifted. This one shifted here, and then this one stayed flat, and then obviously migrated again and again. So of course, when you have 2 stack POC like this, it's an important level. Pair that with the value decision here, because this was at our all-time high at once. You guys remember that? So it's an important level, right? When they have a high like this and they put in some lower lows, pay attention to it. Like this one here, fairly important, high important. But this one here, they offered a decent bounce. And so far, so good, right? So if they reclaim this, watch for a short right here. That's going to be a pretty big deal. So that's that one. On weekly, I mean, we marked the weekly levels, right? The ones that you're probably going to need are right there. So here's your prior week low. So here's your prior week low. I'll pay attention to that. And then you also have, if they decide to get a little crazy tomorrow, you have this developing weekly POC, right? Right in that single print zone that we had on TPOs, and you can see it a little bit here. So this will be a fairly important area as well. So you reclaim this, very high chances you're going to run it based on what I'm seeing here. Okay. Any questions on the weekly? You guys remember what we did on this zone here? Just to see if you guys are following. Why did we do this? What I just did in like 3 weeks. You guys remember what we talked about there? I said it last night, actually, or we had to watch this the day before. You guys remember how we said last time you bounced here, right, off of this 3-week value, and it was narrow, that if you crack inside, then most likely you're going to crack through this. You guys remember that? And then I think who asked? Sunny asked, what are the levels below? And then we added some levels below. Does this make sense? Why we did that?
Last time we were in balance.
So market goes, market always goes from balance to imbalance to balance, and then it kind of continues, right? So it'll go like this, like this, like this, continues up. It doesn't just go forever like this. It's not a market auction theory, right? At some point, you're going to have buyers that agree on something, right? And balance means that they just don't agree on a price, whether it's bullish or bearish. At this time, they didn't agree on the price here. So we had value here previously, and now if you go here on the top, and we just look at this area, what do you see? Well, pay attention, right? So this was our value at one point right here. So this was our value at one point, and then that imbalance is where? Well, that imbalance is right here. They cracked They shifted the value. They tried to drop back inside. Notice where they bounced. Is this a surprise where they bounced?
Nope.
Why is this not a surprise where it bounced?
Because if they would have lost, they want to stay in the upper penthouse.
Yeah, they were rejecting this value. They didn't want to get in. Then you see they accepted the price here, and then they sell off. So in Wyckoff theory, what is this called right here?
Distribution.
Distribution, right? So you had a distribution. You accumulate. You have a price markup. You go up, and then you're distributing here, and then you go to the bottom again, right? But this time just slightly lower, right? You get inside and you go to the bottom. And we said, well, you already explored this area, right? And you had a nice bounce, but you didn't really make a meaningful high between these two, did you? When you went to the bottom here, did this make clear higher highs and continue breaking structure higher? Is this a higher high here?
No, not really.
This is not a higher high. So what does that tell you about the buyers that were buying in this really, really tight value? It was mainly a short cover rally. This was all old business. There was no new business, because if there was new business, they would have blasted through this, right? But this tell you this was driven here. So let me ask you, who was buying here? Long term or short term in this balance?
Short term.
Short term.
How do you know?
But long term would have broke out better.
Would have broke out better. That's okay. They did make higher highs. So they did make higher highs when they broke out, right? Is there any other reason why it's short term?
Narrow range.
Oh yeah.
Narrow range and the value is super tight. Who likes trading something like this? Is it long term or
Short term.
Short-term retail.
retail trading in here, guys? So if the retail was the one that was trading here and retail was also doing what here, what are the odds the next time you come here that you're going to slice it? You think higher or lower? Because retail also probably on the wrong side of a lot of these trades. So maybe their money is kind of drying up a little bit. Well, it dried up, right? So now just think picture wise here. Keep it simple. What do they have to get in to continue higher?
Above that narrow range.
So if you can get in about this 22, you have a high chance, right? You have a high chance to go to about 73. In between, where would you take your money?
At the
Look at
POC.
POC.
That range that we identified earlier, of course, there was a lot of volume traded here, and people exchanged a lot of shares, right? So it's POC there, and it's the POC that we had of that 2 weeks, right? So does it make more sense what I'm trying to explain to you between accumulate, distribute, paying attention to the weaknesses and who's actually trading there? If this was institutional traders, the value would have been wider. Institutional traders rarely leave a D-shaped profile. What do they leave?
Either
A P or a B?
It would be either trending B profiles, uppercase B, or lowercase b and P, right? And why is that? How do you know that that's them? How do you know it's institutionals? Based on profiles.
You typically have a trend.
Price would be higher than value.
They would also have access on selling or buying tails, right? Or single print somewhere if they're indecisive at one point, making a B shape. But remember, when you're going higher, why does the market go higher?
Looking for sellers.
For
To shut
selling.
off the
Shut off what?
The buying.
the buying.
The buying. So when you meet, so let me give you a scenario. Who's on the right side? Ask or bid?
Yes.
And what type of participants do we have on the ask?
Aggressive buyers and passive sellers.
Okay. This side, who do we have? I'm sorry if this is taking long. If you know all this, feel free to drop. No hard feelings, but I'm just trying to give you a full picture so you guys can kind of understand.
Aggressive sellers and passive buyers.
So as we approach these prices right here, let's say this level, and you see the volume, there's a lot of factors coming in. Down, this massive spike on the red day. You have a pickup in volume as you're going down. What do you think? What's happening on the ask side here versus bid side at this level?
The buying's getting absorbed.
So if the market wants to move, how does it move? Is it with limit sells and buys or what?
The market sells.
Sells and market buys.
aggressiveness.
So
Buys.
if now think about the candle that would leave to give you an idea that there is a seller. A seller has a limit sell, let's say at, we'll put, let's say 740, 10,000 lot. We can make it worse. Let's say 100,000 lot. In order for this price to be absorbed and to go to 43, you need a lot of market buys to occur here. I guarantee you, based on what you saw in volume here, the institutional traders are not participating in this rally. And we've known that when we looked at the volume on daily. How many times did we say the volume is pretty bad? Did we not say that multiple times if I go on daily here?
Yes.
So here's your volume as you're going up. Look at this. We even talked about it, right? That it's dying when you're having this massive run. And here you're basically looking like this. And then here, only one day was basically above average. And now look at this. Look at the above average selling that's happening here. We know they're not in it, and they haven't been in it for a while. So you can check on the weekly here. And look at this. This whole run from April lows. This looks pretty good. This is a lot of, I would say, bullshit news. Chaos created, chaos fixed, chaos created. Take the tariff back, take the tariff on, put it back up. You get taxed, you get tariffs. We go to war. That's this. How's the economy doing? How disconnected is stock market to U.S. economy?
The opposite.
Have you guys seen the unemployment numbers? What's happening? Like where the layoffs are?
Yeah, my nephew just got laid off.
So they released some data, right? That this was the January layoff surged to 17-year high. It's up 205% from December, and the highest January total since 2009. You won't have inflation, I guarantee you. But that's not because people don't want to buy it. It's why.
No money.
You're going from inflation to hyperinflation inflation to stagflation, and you're going to go rate cuts. Rate cuts are coming, I guarantee you. Probably larger chunks of rate cuts are coming, and typically market does well in rate cuts or bad.
Is January
do-
typically a
Should
month
do
for
good.
layoffs? to
Quantitative
begin with?
easing.
Always.
Yeah.
Always in a midterm year. Like this is a midterm year, so yeah, it's common for them to do that. And a lot of companies do layoffs just so if they're not, their bonuses are typically paid out in March, April. So if you fire them now, you also get to save cash flow and make it look like sometimes it's better if you're an evil company. Which is nasty and dirty to do, but they will do that, right? Even though you work hard and do everything you're supposed to, and then they're like, oh shit, we no longer need you, Michael. Thank you for participating. Okay. So hopefully, does it make sense? And what I'm telling you here, expected buyers are not here. So when you meet a seller with this massive lot, what happens is that these orders get filled. So what happens is that these orders get filled. Once they do, and they have a lot more inventory, and they see that there's not a many market buyers, what do they do on the selling side?
Lower the price.
Well, they become what?
Aggressive.
They become aggressive sellers. And then all these passive buyers waiting here, and they get met basically with the aggressive sellers, and they can't hold the price. That's what you get. And here, these guys were never going to hold it. But if they're to lose this level, we talked about this piece, and I'll bring it up so it'll refresh your memory here. We'll go on RTH. AI just to delete all arrows. We talked about this specific profile here just two days ago. I think we talked about this profile here. Talked about another Thanksgiving. You guys remember?
Not much to it.
How's the structure on it? Does this look pretty strong?
Pretty non-existent.
Pretty non-existent. So now when you look at it, this was a low volume day, Thanksgiving week. And look where we are, right? And you're holding right above it, right? So this is your single prince area of that week. So you can mark this to be clear on it. They go all the way down to here, which most likely are going to hit this zone. So I wouldn't add another line. Then if you lose this, what do you have? You have a lot of support again.
No.
I don't know. You can definitely put this level here, but it won't hold. 722. You would want to put this level right here, 6599, and this level, just so you have it as potential levels for a bounce. And then and same thing we did here. We looked at the balance, we charted it, right? We looked at the profile up top. We charted this as well, so we can see the value and where the rejections are. Remember, we go from balance to imbalance to balance and so on. Do we have a balance anywhere here now? There are balance below this.
$65.10 area.
Would this be another balance? It doesn't have to be perfect, but is the price making higher highs on leaving?
No, that would be a range.
That's a nice range, right? Can this range be a little bit here? But yeah, look what happened. People are like, oh, well, that peaked. You're looking at it. Sure. This is art, not science. So does this look like they got accepted?
No.
So they got
A few
rejected.
days.
Yeah. So they stay there, and then ultimately had this massive pickup in volume, and then they sold off, right? So if you think about this, then you have the low somewhere right here where they also rejected these. So about 65.88. So this zone becomes critical on the bottom, right? That you want to see them hold kind of in this area as well. So now you have a range. I can just simply take this. I can take a look at this and see where's the value here. And the value seems pretty high inside, right? So you look at this and the POC and value area low 77. This POC is right here, 6711. Somehow I remember 711. I don't know if it was the gas station or. So now you have this massive POC there that we are in, and we haven't visited that POC yet since we left. You guys agree?
Yes.
There's really a magnet is right here to see if you hold this, right? If they're able to hold this balance right here, this is a potentially good long, especially if they crack inside and regain it quickly. That's your opportunity for a long. So if they do something like this, you do not want to be short, because then they're going to go something like this, and they can just keep pushing, potentially until they get here. This is a pretty dangerous zone for them. Does that make sense so far? What I'm trying to tell you and the difference between the two. Here, if they hold, they're gonna reject this lower value. But if they lose this, this becomes a magnet instantly. So you're talking about 50 something points that you can have here. So you're watching to see what happens here. You lose it. You're not trying to be too heavy, too short here. You're looking for opportunities long, and what you do as you're arriving here, what can you do from let's say you don't have anything.
No sound, Shorty?
Oh, I have some. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, okay, yeah, you're back.
No, just trying. I don't want to delete. These are my levels I look for. So let me ask you this now. So if I wanted to go long, let's say, okay, so we had this little balance and then they sold off here. If you wanted to go long and you have nothing else but price action and candles, let's say you have this downtrend right here, right? You have balance and then you break out and then here. So where is it that something happens in the market that gives you an idea that you're better off long now than short? Where do you go long? You only have candles and price action, higher highs, lower lows.
You go where it bounced off a level
69.10.
of support.
Yeah, it made a change of character.
Does everybody understand what a change of character is?
Confused. I'm a breaking structure.
That's fairly easy. So let me tell you. When you're making, let's say, you make a higher high, you're going like this, and you're continuing in a trend up. You're making higher highs and higher lows, right?
Yep.
So in this case, this would be higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Higher highs and higher lows would make you what?
Break a
Uptrend.
structure.
Trend.
A trend. That means it's trending up. So if you're trending, right, in a direction on 5 or 1 minute, whatever minute you're going on, what you do is, where's the break of structure here for continuing trend up? So each high here is you're just continuing the trend and making higher highs. That's what means break of structure. Here, I'm just continuing. where would the change of character happen? So if I now continue from here, where would the change of character happen is when you make a lower low.
Lower low.
So now you're changing the behavior of the market. The auction changed. This is now you're putting in a lower low, which is change of character. So now you do something like this. Now, when you break this low here, what is this called?
Start of a downtrend.
Just call it break of structure because now you're trending lower. You have lower high, lower low, lower high. If you continue down, you're just continuing to break the structure. So this is your boss in bearish. This is your boss in bullish. This is your change of character when you're switching from bullish to bearish. You're looking for crackle or lows. And then here, when you're going the opposite direction, right now you're going from here. So if you go something like this, is this a change of character right now?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this becomes your change of character on the bullish side. That makes sense now? Your break of structure just continue the trend. Change of character changes it where it makes higher high or lower low. So click.
Thank you.
Somebody else picked it up. So don't be overly
where's the
bearish
entry
at this
then?
level. Sorry?
So where was the entry? Was it 69.10 or yeah, you showed us and
Well,
said where.
well, the entry would be you want it to reclaim the change of character. You want to be above the change of character and find acceptance. If you go and you're going long on the first candle, you're playing with fire. You want to change the character, and then you want to look for opportunities long. So if you're doing something like this, you want to go here, and then a retest here is actually much better than a long here. Let them go above, let them show that they accept it, that they continue building, and then when they come back, that's a good long right here. That would be your long, and you could play this many ways. You know, you can put a stop loss right below if you're a little bit more conservative and you're looking for a smaller target, let's say here, then you can manage it, right? You can have 3 to 1, 3 here and 1 here, and then you can shift, really dependent on the risk appetite that you have. But you want the long on the retest. You want to change the character. And here's your market now. So
Just like the trade you took this afternoon.
So here's this, watch this now. Is this break of structure here, or what is it? It's just a break of structure, right? We're making lower lows. You know, you have lower low here, lower low, another lower low. So did we reverse the trend here?
Nope.
Would you go along here?
No.
Too uncertain.
What do you want to reclaim? If you go here, they're just consolidating right here above what they need to hold. So some tools that you have, not that this is great volume, is there anything that's telling you that maybe they want prices higher?
That
Buying.
hammer candle with the long volume.
The
But you're
stopping
watching,
value.
you're watching to see what they do with this guy right here. He seems to be interested in buying. There's multiple ways to do that. One of them is you play below the wicks, a stop loss, right? Another one, if you're a little bit more conservative, is do this, change this to 50% of that wick, and watch what happens as they arrive here. So you see where this one bounced? %, of the wick. So now, what you want to see is they're going to come here. They're going to come play around with this little zone again. If they give you this right here, you could take this for long. And why is that?
It's a retest.
They're trying to basically shake some people out. And if they come close to here, this might not be a bad long. And if you go long here, and let's say you're playing overnight, just this session for the next maybe hour, you can close it right here. Where would you put your stop loss?
The middle of that candle below it, or that wick below it.
Is there an issue besides the long? Because you guys all spotted this one. But there's another one that you guys need to spot in terms of volume. There any other candles in volume that you're like, oh, what's going on?
That doji one?
This one here? Well, what about this volume here?
That would have me thinking bearish.
Oh, so it's giving you a little bit of a confusion. If you go off volume, right, it's giving you confusion. If you apply theories, right, and you say, okay, well, that's a spring, right, because the market is trying to reclaim the lower low, right, the break of structure, and it's trying to build a value. When we dipped inside, what did the market say in terms of value? We don't want to go there. So most likely, I said 12 in an hour, but it seems like there's a lot of volatility. So we're gonna go here probably about 11 and a quarter right now. Are they gonna sweep one more time here right now and then look for a bounce here and then go? Yes, they're most likely gonna do that because they need to trap people. So just watch what they do. But this was, not a bad long based on just what you're seeing. This guy here, they tried to bring the price down. They said not today. Let's come back 3 candles in a row. A little bit of a bullish imbalance right here. Covered at 50% of that wick. This is a much better long than short for now. And you could have played this for minimal points. As soon as you have this candle coming in 1 minute, could have taken it. And some people maybe live off of 4 or 5 points.
That was the doji I was saying, that one.
Oh, okay. Is there a different name for this candle?
Oh, I don't know.
Anyone?
A shooting star or something?
Morning star.
Close. Anyone else have a different candle? I think of dojis in the shorter tails.
A long-legged doji. I don't know.
Close enough. Never heard of dragonfly doji?
Ah, yes.
Pretty sure. So you had a dragonfly. I mean, that's volume shit, but that's okay. But did this make sense to you guys? What I was trying to explain, the whole thing? Examples. Any questions? What needs to happen tomorrow? Like, what is the level you're watching for reclaim?
The 68.22?
Oh, yeah, the prior mountain low, right? That would be the key. Are we gonna do with the prior mountain low? Can we reclaim the prior mountain low? Then you have the 22 to 47 to 73. You're watching for price and reaction, right? If we lose that, low that we just talked about right here, purple, it's dangerous, right? We can go quickly, 6709 and then 6500, and it would be rather like maybe 2-3 days that we would explore this whole area. But if we hold it, they have a chance to bounce. They have a pretty good chance.
Tomorrow's Friday. The news.
Very fun. Yeah, I think I made probably record money for a week this year. Just off of options and trading futures.
That's why you're not around.
Well, I think on the NPH I made quite tons of shares on the NPH, and I had a lot of calls on it as well, so it was pretty good.
Did you see that Hems did that move that you wanted pretty much after hours?
I don't get the right chart for him. I don't know if it's on the left or right.
I think you said your target was around 20 something, right?
Yes. Oh man, that looks good. Well, I guess time for Hems tomorrow.
I had been waiting for this one too.
This one, yeah. I mean, I'm too worried about these threats of pharmaceutical drug prices. That's the little kiddos. We know that we're all on that. I mean, they came very close to the bottom band. This is an excellent range to add. So I'll be by it tomorrow. Thank you for it. I probably had a number. This is solid.
Yeah, it's 21 in aftermarket right now, but I'm sure they'll rip it in the morning or something.
Well, they don't. They wait.
You guys are buying this, or you're buying options?
This one. I'll be buying him. Market buying this range tomorrow. Market can do whatever he wants. This will be a longer term hold.
You're buying shares, right, Shorty?
Yep. Check see if they have options. I'm sure they're optionable.
They do, yeah, and they're pretty liquid. And
I'll probably
when
look
this
at some
moves,
options too. Let me see what they have for options.
when this moves, I mean, it moves quickly. Usually,
And last time I missed it. Came this the
Yeah.
range before, and I missed this, right? I didn't get these prices, but now I'll get a discount. And the only thing is if it decides to go to 16, but that's not a huge drawdown. At least I don't think it is. I'll probably add quite a bit here if it goes. Let's see, Snap did not do too well. I still have everything for Snap. No. Not much.
You're gonna load up more now that's on a discount.
I will. I mean, by the odds, the Snap dollars in the near future.
Is there any concern
I
about
would
the
think they're pretty
CEO?
high, just because of the profitability, unless something crazy happens. And this was their all-time low right here. So I would not be surprised if they go here and see if they can catch some stop losses. But I will add this. I mean, look at all these people, and they're not going to defend the price. Get out of here. I don't believe that. They're going to
It's very odd that it crashed today
I mean, they had
after.
phenomenal earnings, man. I don't know if you saw their
Exactly,
EBITDA
that's
targets.
what doesn't make any sense. The only thing we can see is somebody is gearing up to sell it or buy it at a cheaper price.
This earnings was recorded last week too.
What do you?
And did you see their insider selling?
I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, you gotta look at it. Pretty funny pattern. That happens a lot. Like I said, there's usually an NDA being signed right about now somewhere. Don't be surprised if Oracle ends this company or Facebook.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Shorty, Reading in.
I did remind my friend I sent him a text message on this one.
We hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, question was regarding the Snap
You
CEO.
guys hear me? Or
Yeah, I copy you.
Yes, Shorty.
the Bitcoin is at a pretty, big level, guys. If they reclaim this, I did start buying IBIT today. So just FYI, this is a pretty good play if they reclaim that POC. I'll definitely watch this, right? And then you can definitely, if you're patient enough, if they give you this at 30, I don't think there's a reason not to buy it at 30. And this will move. This is gonna recover. We're gonna get a tweak here and there soon. But even now it's bouncing. You had a nice stopping volume on 65 minutes earlier today. You guys see it? Where's the stopping volume candle? Yeah, this one here, right? But the better ones were.
That one.
Last one.
Yeah.
Very good. And you could have protected yourself really nice here too, multiple ways. So this
Did
looks
you
like
collect on your bet yet?
he said that he's gonna send me either that or we're gonna go to a sushi bar here in Atlanta where the rolls are like $200. And I told him I eat usually 4. One of the two. He hates sushi, so it'll be good. Be good to watch him waste money on something he hates. All right, well, I'll be on tomorrow, so jump in, trade with
Shorty,
you
there's
guys.
a question. There's a question in the chat.
Oh, sorry, let me see. Be the target for I. That sounds like Mr. Tom is long.
Yeah, I don't know why you couldn't hear him. He was talking.
No. Yeah, I could not hear. So the first target will be, you're going to have to get out of 41 target out of here. But ultimately, I would say you're looking somewhere around 50 to 53 is my exit. Unless we, get random tweets and stuff and we catch just the opposite of what we're doing now in the downfall, then you would have opportunity to keep some runners maybe somewhere around here. Let it rip. There's a little bit of sellers that are loaded at 58. But this would be the level. Start offloading. So about maybe 60, 70%. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you have a good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on probably around 9:45. I have to drop off the kiddo at school, and then I'll be on.
You're coming on tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be on All Trade Live.
Okie dokie.
Yes.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.